Hey there, welcome to Ship to Shore News. My name's Stuart. Thanks again for coming back. Today I'm going to go over some things that I love about cruising and some things that I hate about cruising. So let's go into what I love about cruising. I love everything, actually. I just love the whole experience of getting on board, but I thought maybe I'd just like to list out some things. So what I really loved recently was the disembarkation process from the NCL Joy. I don't know if they're doing it on all the ships. I should probably do that research, but it was incredible. We had to line up, of course, and you stand in a line, but before we left the ship, we went through the same process of disembarking at any cruise port. We'd come up, do the facial ID, then for residents of the United States, they would just get off board and go get their luggage and leave. As a Canadian getting off the ship, I went in, did the facial recognition. Behind them, there was another fellow from the CBA who looked at my passport and waved me on through. Into the terminal I went, picked up my luggage, got my Uber, and off to the airport I went. It was so sweet, so easy. And oddly enough, I've heard people complain about that. It takes too long. Well, you're going to end up in a lineup somewhere. But I found that this lineup was a lot faster and a lot easier than standing in one to get off the ship and then another one to go through customs when you get off the ship. Another thing I love about the cruising is the food selection and the selection of cuisines. Oh my goodness, you can eat anything on the cruise ships. You can eat American, you can eat Asian, you can have Indian, you can have everything, French, Italian. Some of the best food I had was some Italian on the NCL Joy. Many have French restaurants, they have pub food, you name it. Also, one of my sons, this was his first cruise recently, he said what he loved was the change in the selection on the menu every day. After we'd leave a cruise port that night in the main dining rooms, the menu would have local selection, something themed for where we were just that day. It was great. Another thing I love are the other passengers. There's just so many people there who are just happy to be out on a holiday, especially now with COVID over. There's so many people who are just willing to chat about nothing. Everybody's just so happy to be on a cruise ship. You sit in the hot tub and just chat with people. We ended up doing a few game shows in the main atrium area, and we sat with complete strangers and had a blast with them. They were just, everybody had the best vibe at all. And then throughout the cruise ship, you just bump into these people you had experiences with, and you sit down and you chat with them. You're just happy to see these people over and over again. It was great. We even met some people. We stopped at one place and we were off the ship having a beach day. And we ended up chatting with this other couple for about an hour, just for no reason. They were on the same ship. Never saw them again, but no, that's okay. Another thing I loved were excursions. The experiences you can have. It's amazing. I've seen Mayan ruins. I've swam with the dolphins. I've seen dolphins. I've seen manatees. I've seen lion shows. I've gone snorkeling. I want to go diving. That's the next time I go somewhere, I'm diving. And I'm told Roatan is the best place if you want to do an introduction to diving. Apparently they have some of the world's best diving there. I don't know. I'm not diving. Leave a comment below if you've done it. Another thing I love about the excursions is we've done zip lining in Honduras. I've done, well, it wasn't really an excursion, but I went to Jack Shack's in Grand Turk. That was amazing. Did the Bacardi tour in Puerto Rico. Yeah, oh, the excursions are incredible. You get to visit the most incredible places. I prefer to do the ones provided by the cruise lines, but hey, everybody's each their own. I know you can get them cheaper if you go through other websites, and that's fine. It's up to you. I just like the guarantee that when it's done, the ship's going to wait for me if there's a problem, or they're going to arrange for me to get to the next port. If I go private, well, you know what? That's a topic for another vlog. What else do I love? I love being pampered in the way that I leave my bed all messy when I go for breakfast. I come back later, the bed's made, the bunk bed that we had was put away, everything's clean, the towels are folded. And then later when I get ready to come and go back to bed, the bed's laid out, everything's ready for bedtime. And you get that cute little towel animal too. What else do I love? If you're hungry and you need a snack in the middle of the night, you can usually find anything you want. Well, not anything. You can find food 24 hours a day. Sometimes it might just be pizza. Other times there's going to be a pub open. something for you. It's going to be a limited selection, obviously, but you're going to be able to get something, and it's going to be good. Also, being able to find something to drink 24 hours a day, it's awesome. Well, if you're that kind of person, and you know what? I've been on cruises where all I've done is drink, drink, drink. I've gotten up in the morning, got my cup of coffee, and then walked over to the bar and got a shot of Bailey's or Kahlua. It's there if you want it. If you want to get a drink and get a cup of coffee, you go ahead and you get that drink in your coffee whenever you want. Also, I always find it impressive that when I get on board, my room steward shows up at some point. I think it's crazy that they just seem to know when I'm in my room. Maybe they got a little room with little lights telling me when I've been in my room or something. But they come and they know my name. They know my kid's name. They know everybody's name. And they see me in the hallway and they remember who I am. That's amazing. That must take so much training. Also, the shows. The shows are just incredible too. We were just on the NCL and watched Elements. Elements is a fantastic production. If you've never seen it, go out and see it. Take part in everything. You've got all sort of activities on board the ship. You've got bingo. We did bingo and that was hilarious. Now I got to get to the things that I hate about cruising. Well, when you're waiting to get on board and you're in that embarkation line, there's always people complaining. Oh my goodness, it's taking so long. Well, guess what? You're trying to get a couple of thousand people on board. I know you book your time, but how many people really go there at that time? I try to get there close or on time, but to be honest, I'm in line. I'm going to get on the cruise ship. If I want to get on faster, I'm going to get there earlier. I'm not going to be there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If I'm getting there at 1, that's because I want to sleep in. I love sleeping in. Maybe I stopped at a drugstore or someplace or a store to pick up some last minute things. Maybe I just want a nice, comfortable breakfast. Take it easy in the morning before I get on the cruise ship. But if I want to get on that cruise ship fast, if I want to get on it early, I'm going to be there as soon as they can. I'm going to book my time for the earliest possible embarkation. What else didn't I like? Well, you're at the buffet and someone just barges in front of you. I hate that. It happens so much. Maybe it's just because I'm a Canadian. We're polite. But I know there's polite people everywhere. But there's always that one person who's always got to just budge right in front of you. They just get in there. Well, I wish they wouldn't do that. You know, you can wait another 10 seconds. You know, that food's still going to be there. It's still going to be hot. It's still going to be good. Go ahead and do that. Another thing I don't like is more budging in front of you. When you get back from that port, that excursion, you get back on the ship and you're tired and you go in that little area and they got the 6 elevators and you're waiting and the door opens and you step forward to get in there and then all of a sudden these people, you just entered the area, they're just pushing their way in there trying to get on right in front of you. Well, you know what? You're on board. If you're in that much of a hurry, there's some stairs right there. Start climbing. That's all I can say. What else? Sometimes the online check-in can just be a pain. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it this last time, or it's happened a few times. You put in the information, it says processing, come back an hour later, a little red X or something saying it's not done. Come back the next day, it's not done. You're like, I put in the information, you check it, it's there, not confirmed. It's there, it's not confirmed. It takes days sometimes, but eventually it takes it. And I know that if I just bring the paperwork to the port, they're just going to be, thank you for being on our cruise. And they'll put the information on. What else? Well, sometimes on board, there's some staff and crew members who having a bad day. Maybe they hate their jobs. Maybe they hate their lives. But they bring that with them when they're helping you throughout the day. And they need to learn how to leave that back in their cabin. Because it ruins my day. When I have a waiter who just doesn't really seem to care, then it just ruins my evening, my dinner, my experience altogether. I feel sorry for them after the fact, but you know what? Their mood's affecting my vacation, my holiday, and so on. Sometimes you get room service. Sometimes you got that excursion. You got to be off board real early, and you go, hey, I'm going to order room service breakfast. I want it here at 7. There's someone banging on your door at 6:30. I don't want to get up at 6:30. I want my breakfast at 7. I don't want anyone banging on my door till 7. I don't like it when they start getting there a half hour early. It just makes me a little bit grumpy. Yeah, 7, not 6:30. What else? Well, a lot of my complaints are about the other passengers. It's interesting enough. I just love cruising. But I have to say, my number one thing I hate about cruising, and it might be about NCL only, is that coffee in the buffet. It is the worst coffee. It's an insult to coffee to call it coffee. Ooh, I wanted to call it Sanka, but it might be an insult to Sanka to call it coffee. Some of the best coffee though was in the Italian restaurant. Oh, they made incredible cappuccino at the end of the night. Oh, it topped off dinner perfectly. But they're not open at 7 a.m. when I want a coffee. I had to go down to Starbucks and get a cup of coffee, and that really wasn't even very good Starbucks coffee. I did find a couple of Starbucks machines where you had to pay $2.50 for a coffee. And to tell you the truth, that was a pretty good cup of coffee. Anyway, if you liked the video, click like. If you think I'm interesting, click subscribe. I'm told there's this little bell thing up in the corner somewhere. Click on that too. You'll get notified. I'm going to try to post videos. Any comment's a good comment. I take criticism very good. I can only get better. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong if you don't tell me. Anyway, till next time, talk to you later.